Good morning, everybody, and welcome to your Monday morning kickstart. I hope you all had an incredible week, an incredible weekend, and let's get this week off to a flying start. So first off, if you're new to the course, if you're just joining today, welcome. I know there's lots of you starting today. These podcasts are only for members of the Cambridge Advanced Accelerator course, and you will receive them every single Monday morning in your inbox. So please do give them a listen. I know they're a very popular part of the course, and I hope you find them useful. Couple bits of news for this week. So if you don't already know, we introduced coffee mornings on Saturdays at, I think it's 10 a.m. on Saturdays, coffee morning into the schedule. And this started last week. Last week was the first coffee morning. Now, these sessions were requested by several of you that you wanted more time just to have chats in English, just to live life in English. Catch up with your kind of friends on the course and have a coffee, really. Use your English in a setting that is not with the exam pressure. So I thought this was a great idea and really important for you guys going into the real world as well, that you get lots of opportunities to use your English. You might not have that in your everyday life. So that's why we have coffee mornings. So there's no teacher there because it's just informal chats. So your chance to catch up with your classmates. So if you want to join the coffee mornings, you are more than welcome. You just go to the link for coffee mornings on the timetable and join in. There's no topic, there's no agenda for these. Join in, have a chat, have a coffee, and practice using all the English and all the lovely phrasal verbs and expressions that you have been learning during the week. So that is our new addition to the course, coffee mornings. We also had a book club meetup on Thursday last week. It was a lovely session. I think there was about 7 of us there. And we had some really lovely chats about the book that we were reading in December. I really enjoyed this book. I was laughing out loud in places in this book. And we were also talking about the pros and cons of audiobooks versus reading the real book. So if you want to join book club and you want to use the audio version of the book, that is totally cool as well. Everybody's a bit different. I'd highly recommend reading, though, for helping you with your exam, with the reading section of your exam, but also building up your grammar, your vocabulary, and your writing. Reading helps with all of these things. It helps you get better at being able to read more quickly, to understand words from context rather than having to constantly look up new vocabulary. It helps you be able to see fixed expressions and phrasal verbs that you've been learning, to see them in context, to notice grammatical structures and how paragraphs are joined together. Again, things like this can help with the reading exam, but also with your writing and everything as well. So I'd highly recommend reading the book, but listening to audiobooks also has its plus points. For example, if you listen to the audio and read the book at the same time, this can help improve your reading speed if you're quite a slow reader. It can help you with your fluency and your pronunciation, learning the kind of the style of speaking that native speakers use. You kind of learn the musicality to the sentences, so you can practice the correct stress and intonation with vocabulary and sentences when speaking as well. So audiobooks can be great for that. They can also be great for, if you want to join the book club but you're short on time. If you're walking your dog or driving in the car, you can listen to these books as well. So up to you what works best for you. But I think joining book club, if you have the time, if you can, is excuse me, I'm still kind of recovering from the flu over Christmas. But it's a great way for you to get that extra English practice in a way that's not purely connected to the exam, but that you will see has huge positive effects on your exam results and on your English. Okay. I generally find people who read a lot do much better in the exams than people who don't like to read. People who are reading outside of the reading exam task, so who are reading The Guardian regularly, who are joining book club or reading books themselves, reading magazines, people who read widely do better in this exam and in general with their English. So if you don't like reading, if it's not your cup of tea, I want you to make an effort to try and get into reading this year. It doesn't have to be a lot, 5 pages a day, 10 pages a day. That's going to get you through a book. 10 pages a day will get you through about a book a month, okay? Which is 12 books a year. And I guarantee if you do that, if you read 12 books in a year, you will see a significant improvement in your English in all areas. I do the same with Spanish. I try and read a Spanish book once a month to keep my level of Spanish up. I have a C1 level in Spanish, but I'm always trying to improve it. I'm always trying to get to that elusive C2 level in Spanish, and reading is my number one way to improve on that. Next bit of news coming out. We're going to be introducing some new training to the course, which is going to be out around most likely the beginning of February. It will be available. And this is going to be to help you with your writing skills. At the moment, I'm going through all the pieces of writing that you guys have been handing in, and corroborating your scores with, when students pass the exam, what their actual score is on the day of the exam, so that we can give you some advice about how to improve your scores on exam day, especially students who have got A's in their exam, that C2 score or close to that C2 score. What is giving them that score in the exam? What is helping them get to that next level? And a few things that we have noticed over the past kind of 6 months with writing is, of course, with ChatGPT, with AI coming in, we're noticing some interesting things with critical thinking skills. And I think this is only going to intensify over the next few years. So what do I mean by that? Now, we're going to go into more detail when our training comes out in February and give you some things to combat this. But basically, we've noticed that, and I am guilty of doing this too, especially with emails, that we're using AI, we're using ChatGPT more and more to do the thinking for us. So for example, if I receive an email, rather than me thinking about how to respond to that email, we're just getting AI to give an automatic response to it, quickly checking it, being like, yes, that will do. Okay. So this is happening constantly at the moment. And I don't know about you, but I can spot an AI email a mile off these days. There's certain things that tell you that it's been written by AI. Number one is using dashes. This is the number one way that you can see if if an email has been written with AI, is the dashes that people use. These are called M dashes, like the slightly longer dashes. ChatGPT loves M dashes, but people in the real world, like a couple of years ago, very rarely used an M dash or don't really know how to use them correctly. So suddenly M dashes are everywhere, and it's because of ChatGPT. So if you see a piece of writing with an M dash in it, it is probably written by ChatGPT. So this is what teachers look out for in schools to spot if students have been cheating or not. But this is one way you can spot ChatGPT. But I digress from my point. Basically, because we're getting a bit lazy with pieces of writing, we're asking ChatGPT to generate ideas for us, and this is kind of destroying our critical thinking skills, our creativity. So I want to make sure that you guys are not doing this when you're doing pieces of writing, because if we get into the habit of doing this, we might be able to produce a perfect piece of writing. But then when we get to the day of the exam, or a situation where we don't have AI to help us, then it can dramatically reduce our scores, or just give us kind of creativity blocks, because we're not used to thinking for ourselves. And a lot of the Cambridge Advanced exam is critical thinking skills, especially when it comes to the reading exam, writing exam, kind of understanding the task that what you're supposed to do, and even the listening exam to some extent, but it's mainly the reading exam and the writing exam that require these critical thinking skills. So our brain is a muscle and we need to use it regularly. But if we rely on ChatGPT to do all our thinking for us, not just for English exams, but in general, if we rely on it to do all our thinking for us, we're losing those critical thinking skills. And we don't want to do that for exams. So a little bit of advice for you is, if you're doing a piece of writing, okay, when you're first learning how to write an essay, so we have training step by step on the course taking you through how to do a piece of writing. Absolutely, you can use, when you're producing your first pieces of writing, you can use dictionaries to help you. You can use your notes to help you. You can have the training in front of you. You can ask ChatGPT for vocabulary if you don't have that yet. But what I don't want you to ask ChatGPT for is ideas, okay? I don't want you to get lazy with our critical thinking skills. So I want to make sure you are thinking of ideas yourself, okay? When you do your first piece of writing, so when you get to the exam, you want to be able to do an essay or a writing task in about 45 minutes. Okay, 45 minutes is our goal for the exam, and that's including preparation time and time for checking your piece of writing. It should take you about 45 minutes. If when you're doing it, when you're practicing, it takes you an hour and a half, that's totally fine. Again, you're just learning how to do it. Use your notes, take your time, check everything thoroughly. Okay, but when we're getting closer to be ready for the exam, we want to do that without your notes. Okay, you want to be able to do that under exam conditions. Just like when you do your mock exams on the course every 6 weeks, you're doing these under exam conditions. You want to do those pieces of writings in your mock exam, you want to do them under exam conditions as well, to make sure that you have that ability to, one, do the piece of writing in time, two, see what your scores would be when we take away the dictionaries, when we take away the help, when we take away the notes, and three, to make sure that you're factoring in the time for you to think about your ideas and organize your plan as well. Now, the good news is the writing tasks are always the same things. It's always the same topics, the same structures. So once you get used to pieces of writing, then it will get faster and faster and easier because you're just basically doing the same thing with a slightly different question. Okay, so perfectly normal. It's going to take you an hour and a half to do your first piece of writing. Okay, but that time is going to come down and down and down as you improve and get better at it. Now, what ChatGPT is great for is after you've done a piece of writing. Okay, after you've done a piece of writing, we can use it to correct your writing. You guys get monthly correction feedback. If you are a gold member, you get writing correction feedback from our team once a month. If you're a diamond member, you get unlimited writing feedback. So don't worry about that. We do give you writing feedback. However, and we have training to help you with this. To get the most out of ChatGPT, to use it to help give you advice on how to improve your pieces of writing as well. And there are prompts that I'll put on your study plan to help you with this, to show you how to use AI to get feedback on pieces of writing, to get extra feedback on pieces of writing. So ChatGPT is great for checking grammatical errors, vocabulary errors, collocation errors, to checking that your piece of writing is in the correct register. So is it academically written? Okay. It is great for helping you upgrade your language. You can ask it to rewrite paragraphs or sentences to make it a more C1 level or to make it a more C2 level. Okay. So it is great for doing this after you've done your piece of writing, okay? Getting advice afterwards so you can improve for the next time you do a piece of writing. But do not do that beforehand, okay? Do not hand in pieces of writing to me that you have got ChatGPT to upgrade the language on, because then this is not something that I know that you can produce. And this may give you an elevated mark when I'm checking it. And then when it comes to exam day, our mark may be lower because we are not able to produce that same language. Okay? So yes, use ChatGPT, but always use it after and not beforehand. Use it for learning and improving, not for doing the work for you. Okay? So the good news is, as I said, we're analysing hundreds and hundreds of pieces of writing at the moment. And we're going to have some new training out at the beginning of February that is going to help you upgrade your language, upgrade the level of your writing, to help you with these critical thinking skills and help you kind of with complex sentence structures and ideas to get our writing, not just from C1, but get it up to that grade A, that C2 level, okay? Because you guys are doing an amazing job with your writing at the moment. You guys are getting to that C1 level. Everyone's getting great results in their writing, but we want to get that even better. We want to get that up to that 210, that maximum score, that C2 score in pieces of writing. Now that is very, very challenging to do because at the moment it's marked by a person, marked by a human, but I think it can be done, guys. that is my goal for this year, to get you guys up to 210 grade A maximum scores in your writing. Okay, so if you want to take on that challenge, make sure you check out the new training that's going to be coming out in February. But first steps first. First, we want to just get the basics. We want to do the initial training on how to do each piece of writing. So we have the foundations to get us to that C1 grade. Okay, this new training is going to be designed to get you up to that C2 level grade. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be awesome. And as soon as it's out, I will let you guys know. Okay, so that is it from me today. I hope you found that useful. Any questions, or if you'd like to continue the chat in Telegram, feel free to open up conversation. And I will see you in the speaking sessions very, very soon. Have a great week, guys.